What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Wing and Tail Boys podcast, your Northeast hunting and fishing destination. I'm Chris.
And I'm Angelo.
And we're your hosts. Join us as we navigate the woods and waters of the Northeast, sharing our passion for the outdoors.
Whether it's land management, outdoor recreation, hunting, or fishing, we're going to cover it all. With 40 plus years of experience in the Northeast, we'll provide insights, tips, and stories to help you make the most of your adventures and help you experience the wild.
So, tune in, grab your gear, and let's hit the woods together. And always remember, success is just a commitment away. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Wing and Tail Boys podcast. I hope everyone has had a great week. If you're out turkey hunting already, I hope you have found yourself some success. And if you are out scouting, preparing for turkey season, I hope you found some success in that as well. Baby update for the listeners. She has not come yet. As I record this intro, it is Tuesday, April 8th. And we are expecting her any day. So I promise you, I will give you an update on that as soon as we have any information. We have a little bit to unpack here in this intro. I'll try to make it as quick as I can. We have some really exciting stuff going on. Firstly, today's episode is the first installment of something that I've really wanted to do here on this channel since we started, and that is a New England Hunters Snapshot series, where essentially we aim to showcase hunters of the Northeast, and today is that first official episode. And we are going to be talking with a true New Jersey killer, Brian Melvin. We've had him on the show before, and that episode we had him on talking about his record bear. This time around, we wanted to showcase Brian the Hunter and kind of give some insight as to what New Jersey has to offer. In this episode, we talk New Jersey swamp bucks. We talk about his bear record update. We talk about spring scouting, New Jersey turkey hunting, New Jersey coyote hunting. Brian tells a couple stories about some bucks he's got on the wall. He shows us his skull, which was really, really cool from his bear, and a cool story that goes along with that. And it was just overall a really great conversation with a true New Jersey hunter. To add on to that, we have some exciting stuff going on here at Wing and Tail Boys, the Wing and Tail Outdoors Network, and we have officially joined up with Rack Getters Scents. As of yesterday, Gerard of Rack Getter Scents and I have spoken, and we have decided they are the official scent company, lure company, attractant company of the Wing and Tail Outdoors Network. After talking with him, we actually recorded a podcast yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm really excited to get that one out to you guys. Gerard is just a true down-to-earth New Jersey guy. He wants to see the best in his customers. Doesn't care how you find success, as long as his products help you find that success. That's what means the most to him. And his products speak for themselves. I have found success with them over the last year. I believe in the guy, I believe in the company, and I believe in the product. And that's just the kind of guys that we want to work with and team up with and partner with here at Wing and Tail. To give you a little bit of background on what they have to offer, they have natural and synthetic lures, so he has something for everybody in any state, anything that's regulated. They have attractants, minerals, turkey calls even, ready for the turkey season. So if you're looking for a last minute call, looking to try something new, he has something for the beginner, he's got something for the expert and everyone in between. So to check out what Rack Getter Scents has to offer, head on over to rackgetterscents.net today and check them out. If you're not sure about anything, just give him a call. If you give him a call, he's the one who's going to answer, and he won't sell you anything you don't need. Give him a shout, and hopefully they work for you. Let us know what you think. Lastly is spring, which means spring food plot season is upon us, or planning for the summer food plot season is upon us. If you're looking for long-term soil health with top-notch deer attraction, look no further, because Vitalized Seed has got what you need. From clover blends to a year-round system, whether you're on a machine or working by hand, Al and Jared over at Vitalized Seed have got you covered. Head on over to Vitalized Seed today, vitalizedseed.com, that is. Head on over, see what they have to offer today, and let us know what you think down below. Guys, that's all I've got for you for the time being. I still am working on something big. We have a website that I'm working on. It's about 3/4 of the way done. I'm really excited to launch that. And with that episode launch is going to come the announcement of something really exciting. With that said, I'm sorry I chewed your ear off for this long, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks again for joining us, and remember, success is just a commitment away. And ladies and gentlemen, Brian Melvin. Hey, Brian, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Weather's finally warming up out here, as I'm sure it is by you.
It is.
It's been a little crazy as of late. It's just been cold. It's been like 30s, 20s one day and then 60s, 70s the next. And it's just, I'm ready for spring to come.
Ready for spring. Warm it up, right?
Yeah, ready for spring to come. Gobblers hoping they're going to start making some noise coming in soon here. You've been on the show before, and last time you came on, we were pretty hyped up to talk about your record bear. Before we get into our episode today, do you have any update on that? Is there anything that happened with that record? It's, have they settled it or?
Still pretty, it is set. So I talked to the museum that was in South Carolina, the Bear Museum, going over a bunch of their records. And right now it is the largest with a bow. Again, largest weight, not skull. I want to make sure. I've gotten a lot of call it hate from some hunters. It's not the skull. I never said it was. It's not. I got it measured. It's 22 and a 16th, which will be in top 30 or top 32 of all time. Don't hold me. That's either 32 or 33. And it'll be top bear this year that we're taking. It's definitely the top of New Jersey. But again, the record that people have talked about is weight and weight only. Okay? Make sure we're clear on that. But the one thing I haven't gotten is my age. I have not gotten that back from the state yet. They're telling me maybe July when the rest of all the records come back. So I'm kind of waiting. The guy that did the measurement from Pope and Young, who has done a ton of big bears, has done the current skull world record from New Jersey. He looked at mine and was like, dude, he goes, your bear is way older. He's like, I'm telling you right now, because there's some bone or lines that go down the center of the skull and the break I guess the fragments of the skull, how they come together. All those lines are gone on my bear skull. Actually, I'm looking at it right now. They're all melded and all calcification, and it's all just one solid mass. He's like, you don't see. He's like, I've only seen 2 other bears like this. I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, and those were up around somewhere in the 15 to 18-year-old. So I was like, great.
I didn't even think a bear could live that long.
They actually got 2 this year over 20. That's in insane. New Jersey. My buddy shot a sow, or buddy's buddy shot a sow at 23, I think.
Wow. So you said you were looking at it. Do you have the ability to just turn your camera and let us get a look at this thing?
It's kind of far. I mean, no, I'm kind of strapped to a desk. If you want me to grab it, I can grab it. It'll take me 10 seconds. Less than that.
If it's not out of your way.
No, 2 seconds. I'll grab it.
Fantastic. Guys, if you are listening on podcast, Brian is about to show us the, I guess, European mount of his bear, the record bear that he shot in Jersey.
So let's get a little close up of this guy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, dude, that is gnarly.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. It's pretty big. I mean, I'm a decent sized guy, and it's a substantial skull, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So apparently there's supposed to be a line that runs pretty much the whole length of the head and goes all the way down, and that's pretty much gone. And all the other lines, I'm using the wrong terminology, I know I am, but they're gone. So you can see where his one tooth is missing down here, which was gone previous to me harvesting them. This one's snapped off here, but it's pretty good, man. It's pretty big. It's big enough for me.
That's incredible. Do you think he lost that tooth in like a fight or something? Or?
So the biologist that I talked to that looked at it said that because of the calcification, I don't know if you could see it in the thing, that it's like he lost that definitely in a rough way, and it's been gone for a long time. Because you can see the bone has actually kind of grown up and around. But I mean, I knew he was a warrior to begin with. He was, when I got it butchered, he had all kinds of stuff in him, and he'd been around the block a few times. But he may not be a world record skull, but it's big enough for me.
Isn't that kind of cool? Like how you had this whole, like, I think if I'm not mistaken, it was like a 3 or 4 year journey with this bear.
Yep.
And then you harvest him, you take him, you got all this record stuff going on, and you think the story's done. And then you get the mount back, and now you have even more to go with it. Like that's...
Yeah, the mount's going to be special. I'm going to put this down right now. The mount will be special for sure. I'll get that back probably I'm hoping October, maybe November. We'll see. Charlie Sahanis has the bear. He's going to be doing the full mount for me. We're going to do a full thing on a nice big base. We've talked about the idea, so I'm excited to get that back. That'll be pretty special.
All right, and you're getting like a shoulder mount done essentially for the
full mount.
Oh my God, full body?
Full body, baby.
Man, Dude, we're gonna have to see that. You gotta come back on for round 3. We're gonna have to see that.
Yeah,
Dude,
you guys come on over. We'll do the show here.
Right there in the background, like you're gonna have to move a couple of those deer out of the way for it. And
I got to get a new place, man. This basement's not going to hold that thing. It's going to be substantial. We're working on getting a new house now, buying a new house. So hopefully I have it by then, and I got big enough sliders that I can get them in the back because it's going to be big, man.
have them make it in 3-peat, like 3 sections, like the Bigfoot Reinhardt targets.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
it takes an army to set those things up.
I'm going to have to lose a couch or something because he's going to be big.
That's great. Is there anything after the fact that you learned from that hunt? Like, I know we talked about it, and
Yeah.
when we linked up for the last episode, it was still relatively fresh. It was like a newer thing. You were getting, I know at the time you were getting a lot of like hate mail and emails and all that stuff, and you were overwhelmed with a lot of stuff. So now that the story settled down,
that guy definitely a little crazy. I knew he was going to get some kind of negative feedback. It got a little worse than I thought. But I will say, as fast as it built up, it kind of died, which was good. One thing I would say I would take away from it that I didn't anticipate was, and I should have anticipated with this, and it's tough to say, is sometimes us hunters can be our own worst enemies. I got a lot of, let me word this correctly, interesting feedback from other hunters that maybe I shouldn't have taken the bear, or there was a little bit of drama surrounding the bear, and we didn't talk about it back then. I'll get I'll tell you a little bit about just some other hunters that were involved in the situation, and because they were in the same area, they were expecting me to leave the area for whatever reason, even though I had permission on the property, and it took away a little bit from that. But what came after that was that a lot of, I guess, so-called friends or whatever became negative to some situations and made some calls, and I don't know, it got stupid, put it that way.
Okay.
Which I did nothing wrong. Everything was positive. Everything was perfect. Everything checked out. Everything was perfect. Just people being, I didn't anticipate that.
Yeah.
So
that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to hear that. We've mentioned this on this podcast before. I've heard it on a bunch of others before, but we're such a small community. In the whole grand scheme of things, we as hunters are a very small community, right? And maybe you like to shoot I know you don't like to shoot crossbows. Maybe you like to shoot a crossbow, or maybe he likes to shoot this, or he likes to bait. If it's legal and you enjoy what you're doing, it might not be something I do,
100%.
but like, come on, like, how could you not be happy?
Man, I'm right there with you. I'm the first guy to tell you. Even and the guy that was after, another guy was after it, I told him before I harvested it, listen, man, if you get the bear, give me a call. I will come and drag that thing out with you. I will help you take pictures. He didn't carry that same sentiment. It is what it is. That's their problem. It is what it is. One other thing that I will say on the opposite side of that spectrum that was fantastic is I got a lot of support from the non-hunting community.
Really?
Yeah. After the fact of all the negativity that came out, I got a ton of messages like within over long periods of time of people saying, because I showed a bunch of people how we used all the fat for soap and we used all the meat and everything. So I think it broadened the horizon a little bit, opened people's eyes that the bear hunt is not just go out and kill all the bears. We use them, we eat them. A lot of people don't realize you can eat Jersey bears.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
I mean, Jersey bears eat good.
Phenomenal. I just dropped off 30 pounds of the chopped meat. It's being made into salami as me and you are talking right now, and I cannot wait for this summer. So that was a big positive. I really enjoyed those conversations with people that aren't part of the hunting community just to help educate them, and I really appreciated their support in this situation. It was good to see, and I really appreciate it.
Honestly, that's one of the more positive stories I've heard in a little bit. That's really great. But on the other hand, it's kind of great and sad at the same time, that we're getting more support from the non-hunting community than the hunting community. It's like things are backwards, but at the same time, it's nice to see. Like, it's like
don't take me the wrong way. I got plenty of good support from a lot of hunters and a lot of good people around me. It's just, there was a little bit of, I'll choose my words, people that just didn't agree within the hunting community.
Sure.
I didn't see that coming. That's all.
Sure. I got to say also, in like, there's a lot of people who'd be on here, like, flipping a shit or whatever. Like, you're handling it very well. You're not saying anybody's names. You're being very respectful about it. So that speaks a lot about you as a whole. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
So on the last episode, we kind of briefly touched on that you have your Timber Life Outdoors, your brand or whatnot. Why don't you talk to the listeners a little bit about that and tell them a little bit about what Timber Life Outdoors is before we get into the main part of this conversation?
Sure. So, yeah, Timber Life Outdoors is basically just myself and a group of friends that have been together for a long time that love to hunt. We're all the average Joes, men and women, that have 9-to-5s, have families, have a ton of responsibilities, but try and carve out as much time as we can in the woods. We're all, we're out there messing up, learning, trying to have some success when we can. But and there's a whole bunch of other videos and a whole bunch of other companies out there that do the exact same thing. I just haven't seen a lot come out of necessarily New Jersey per se. Not to say I could be totally missing them, but it was just an idea that we got together and we realized, we've been hunting for a long time, but we have some success. I got some decent, bucks under my belt, and we've killed a lot of turkeys, some good bears. We do a lot of predator hunting. We do a ton of waterfowl. If anyone sees our page, you'll check it out. You'll see a lot of good waterfowl content. And I thought it was just a unique situation where we could get out, share that New Jersey has phenomenal hunting. If you know how to get out there, if you can spend a little bit of time and get out there, you could be successful, and show that some, average people, average Joes that don't have a ton of private property, aren't necessarily always going on outfitted hunts. I'm not saying I won't. I'm not saying I won't hunt private property either. I'm just saying most of our hunting is probably done on public, and tell some stories, have some fun. It's been an awesome learning curve, especially on the filming side. That is an art, and I am diving headfirst into it, and I'm getting better, but it is a absolute art, and I really I'm impressed with people that do it for a full time. But that's what Timber Life's all about. Just the average people out there in Jersey trying to get it done.
I love that, man. I mean, we can really get along with that. I love that. First off, the quality of videos that you have coming out have been awesome so far. Like the stuff
Thanks.
that I've seen, I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I thought you were like in filming of some sort as a profession.
I appreciate that.
So that like they're legit.
Thanks, man.
So we spoke on the last one where I told you I have a bird dog, I have an upland dog, but I've never really been around working labs, working duck dogs, And one of the guys I used to train with was also like a professional photographer. And some of the photos that he got of the dogs like just brought their face to life. You know what I mean? Like you were there with them.
Yeah.
And I got the same feeling from the images that you were posting of those labs. Some of those retrieves you got were awesome.
Thanks, man.
How old are those dogs?
They range, everybody that's in the group right now range from about 2 years old to 4 years old. Everyone that you saw on the page this season, a good group of guys some guys that just started in the training world, bringing their dogs up. A couple of us have had multiple dogs, but none of the dogs are really what I would say completely finished. My dog and a couple others are on the upper end, being about 4 years old, but they're all really, really great dogs. They all get along. We can hunt together. And like you said, I'm enjoying sitting behind the camera. My buddies are a little spoiled now. I just film and call, and they get to shoot. I film, call, and run the dog, and they just get to shoot.
When do you get to drop a bird?
Very rarely, but it's okay. I am really obsessed with the camera now. I mean, you can see there's a camera set up behind me. I was doing intros earlier. It's becoming a passion of mine. I enjoy it. I have a ton to learn. I'm enjoying that process, but it's fun, man. It's a blast.
That's great. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I know you posted that double. There was the video posted of the double turkey shot. I'm assuming it was I'm really looking forward to watching that one.
It was a good one, man. Wait. It was a good one.
You mentioned, I know you didn't grow up hunting. So did you grow up with these guys, like these friends that you hunt with? Are these guys you grew up with, or did you meet them along the way? Like, how did the group of Timber Life get together?
Yeah, so my best friend did not grow up hunting just like me. We grew up since kindergarten together. I brought him into hunting later in life once I was kind of introduced to it. No one in my family hunted. I was introduced, I think I've said it before, I was introduced to a now family friend who was a teacher back in the day. He was in upland hunting. That was my gateway drug. Upland hunting, big game hunting, bow hunting, duck hunting, everything just kind of came after that. Everyone else that's part of Timber Life has come because of hunting. And I will say most of them have come because of dog training, people that I have met through dog training, then got into hunting with them, and then met a buddy through them, and then and then I had helped them with their dog, and it kind of parlayed into a whole bunch of big stuff. And it's been a wonderful network. It's a great network. New Jersey has a awesome dog network. People don't realize a very big upland and gun dog network that is phenomenal. But I've gotten a ton of lifelong friends out of it, and the majority of them are what makes up Timber Life.
For sure, man. Isn't it? I always heard this saying growing up, but I didn't understand it until I actually got into working dog training. You really can tell a man by the way he treats his dog.
Totally.
You really can. Like, there's people I walked into like the training like the second or third day. I'm like, they know a lot. Probably not someone I want to hang out with, and you just kind of, that's awesome.
You get a vibe.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So any of those deers back there from this year? Or are those all deer from the past?
No, they're all Jersey deer, but they're all from the past. I didn't get my buck back from this year, but there's some good ones back there. There's a couple, that one right there, or right there. That's a nice 153 from Jersey, and a couple good ones. I'm looking at them. I'm not going to spin this all around, but I got another wall with a whole bunch more in front of me. I shot a nice one this year that you saw. That was it's on the page, and I have a whole hunt coming out, videoed the whole thing myself. So I got a really cool episode's going to come out for that one. That was a nice right at 160. There's some great deer in Jersey, you know, and they're all with the bow. If you're out there chasing to put the time in, you can definitely get it done.
There really are. And I'm a little hesitant when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, because we're here to kind of promote Jersey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The good and bad thing about Jersey is they don't take care of their forests for the most part. There are certain places where they do, and you know they're trying, but from a hunting standpoint, they really don't. So Jersey has the stock.
Oh, totally.
And if you can find the thick pockets in Jersey, I mean, you just got to know how to hunt them at that point.
We have the genetics, and if we just stop beating the herd up and kind of really like primed our resource, we could have some giants.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a little off topic, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what the new regulations come out with this year. Because I think it was 2 years ago now, they sent out the questionnaire for Jersey hunters. They're like, how do you feel about the point restrictions and the dates and earn a buck and all these different things? And I don't know how you responded, but on the ones I did, I said, you know, I wish there was an antler restriction across the whole state. I wish, you know, it should be earn a buck and all this stuff. So
I wish we had 2 tags. Give me 2 flex tags. Use them however you want. I don't need $7.
Yeah,
there's no reason in Jersey. We do not need to kill $7 a year.
No,
when you have unlimited does in most areas.
100%. And I think we could even do better with shooting the doe. I think people are like, okay, well, I can shoot $7. So why should I shoot 13 doe? You know what I mean? So it's like, honestly, I kind of like the way PA does it. Now that I'm here and I got like an idea, the fact, you know, $1 per hunter, period, done. Take it with what you want.
I'm all for it.
Oh, you want a bunch of doe tags? Buy as many as you want.
Perfect.
You know, so it's like, I got no problem with that.
No.
So if you have to pick a deer behind you, I'm not going to ask you for your favorite, because I know I saw the look on your face. He took a deep breath. He was worried.
That's tough.
Yeah, I don't want to ask you for your favorite, but do you have a deer that has the craziest story or your favorite story to tell?
I would say it would be this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's from the picture from this video, you're not really getting the full size of him, but his name's Louis, and his bases are, I call them Louis because these bases are like a Louisville Slugger.
Okay.
And I actually found him in July of the year that I shot him in an area that I was actually going after a bigger deer, but not an older deer, a big, nice, heavy 13 pointer that actually died of EHD a week before the season. And then I switched to him. But that's a whole nother story for another day. That was 3.5 or 4 years ago. And somehow, I'm getting on a tangent here, but somehow a deer with that same deer's genetics is now in the same patch of woods or generally area. And he is going to be the exact same monster this year. So he's one on my top list, but that's for another time.
Can you imagine taking his brother?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Can you imagine? Put it right. If you shoot that one, you have to get the exact same mount facing the opposite direction. They got to be facing each other.
So this one, the story with this guy is that he was in this crazy swamp that is only boat access. You have to take a boat in. And the worst part about it is the wind is only good for the early season. You can't really get into this swamp when there's a northwest wind for that later part of the season, like the predominant wind that we want. So I knew I had pretty much like 3.5, 4 weeks before that wind switches hard that I kind of had to get it done. He was in daylight for the whole summer, no problem, perfect pattern, everything was perfect, and then completely ghosts me, goes completely nocturnal, only shows up in mid-type, blah, 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 blah. I figure out that there's a couple other guys that are up on top of another ridge that are putting a little bit of pressure on him. He's down in this draw that I put some cameras up, saw he was coming out in daylight there, staging on a small acorn flat, still going to my bait. I'm not one of those guys that's going to say I didn't hunt him over bait. I hunted him over bait. I'm not BSing. I didn't, we use funnels and all that stuff, but I'm in New Jersey. I was hunting over bait. Whether how you feel about that, it is what it is. It's legal in New Jersey.
Comment about it. Let us know what you think.
There you go. But he would not come to the bait during the day. That is the one part that I will say. He did not come to the bait during the day once the season began. The crazy part about it was I had to cut him off about 300-400 yards before I was getting to my setup, parked the boat down, dipped into that funnel, that area where he was staging at, and sat for about 7 or 8 days straight with perfect wind, which half of this is luck. I had a southwest wind for 7 days straight, which was incredible. The last day he came out with 6 minutes left of the illegal and got lucky, and I shot him at like 42 yards, and he wasn't coming any closer. I don't know, like they say, they got the sixth sense. My bear did the same damn thing to me, but he came in. That was one of the ones that I put a lot of time in, really had to grind him down and got it down. He was definitely a special one. The boat ride out was fun.
I bet. There's a shit-eating grin on your face.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. I really enjoyed. It was fun. It was fun. Everything, he beat me like 4 or 5 times, which I really love. It's a chess game, and that was a special journey on it. Even though it was all within the same season, a couple of these other ones, like this one right here, I had for 3 years, and he's a nice 145 clean 8, which is a big 45, was big for an 8. I had him for 3 years. That was a cool story, but this one I just went crazy over and was like really obsessed over. There's another one over here that's even got a crazier story, but maybe for another time. I'm not going to spin around and do that whole thing. He's way bigger, but there's some good ones.
Then that story right there, that is a testament to knowing the woods that you hunt. So you know exactly when the wind is going to shift relative to the time of year. You knew where there was pressure, and you knew how that deer was going to react to that pressure, and you formulated a plan for it. If I'm not mistaken, I think you said in the past that you don't like to hunt the same stand over and over and over and over again.
Hate it.
So it's like,
Yeah.
But you knew that you had to,
I had to.
and it would work because of the wind.
I had the water at my back. I knew if the wind was right, if I had a 10+ mile an hour wind, steady wind, the water was my back. I knew he couldn't get by me without being shot. It was a perfect scenario to not screw up as long as I got in clean, which I could. But yes, you're 100% right. I will scout 90% of the time and hunt 10% of the time. Like this past year, I only maybe sat 6 times.
Yeah, so we're I mean, we told you last time my dad got a shot at the target buck. He didn't hit it. Thankfully he didn't hit it and wound it or anything, but we got him on camera 2 more times at night only, never saw him in the daylight again, and we have not seen him in months upon months. I haven't seen him since like November. So I don't know if he's alive. I don't know if he went off somewhere else and he's going to come back in the summer, like, because he did the same thing last year.
Okay, that's
last
good.
year he was there early, showed up again the first weekend in December. I think it was like December 3rd. Never came out of the brush. I had my rifle on him, and he went back, and then never saw him again until summertime.
Wow.
So I'm hoping he comes back this year, and if not, hopefully another one moves in, because like you also said, there's another deer who's almost identical to this one who slipped back into the exact same area that this deer is at.
Yep.
Do you find that happens often? I know we hear about it a lot, but I've never gotten to speak to someone directly about it.
Yeah.
Do you find that often where when you shoot a mature deer in one spot, that's typically a spot you continue going back to?
I would say the short answer is yes, but it's not like back-to-back years. Generally, your big bucks like certain things and like certain areas for a reason. So it's only a matter of time before another mature deer is going to use that same area for those same reasons. But it's not like you can, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, some people probably have some incredible honey holes and they could shoot a slammer every time in there. I do not. I got to move around a little bit. But for the most part, I can find a deer in that area over a given amount of time. Something will come back in there eventually. So I think it's more about the environment than anything. And then those big bucks like the same stuff, man. They love those swamps. They love those areas that they can be tucked up on a little knoll and have that wind at their back and still look down and see everything perfect. There's certain attributes that they look for.
No, absolutely. And when you can find the spot, it's nice to just, Now, is that something where you, like, let's say, you find a nice spot and you go, okay, there's going to be a big deer here. Is that something where, like, now you've harvested that deer and you just leave a camera to soak and just wait until you see another deer show up? Do you not utilize cameras as much? What's your process like once you either locate a deer, or let's start with, okay, you harvested this deer, you know that this area is a nice area. How do you use that moving forward for the?
Yeah, so I'll run I'll run cameras in that same spot every year until something shows up. I mean, to a point, I'm not going to run, if I have an area that I'm on a couple deer, the net might get larger with 4 to 6 cameras, something like that. But in an area that I know that there is a possibility for a deer, I'll run, a couple cameras in there and move them as the season goes and nothing shows. Actually, where this buck was for 2 years afterwards, there was not a single mature deer in there. Nothing over a 2-year-old. So, but I still was in there. I'm still checking, seeing what's going on. And then last year, a deer filled in that I found and so forth and so forth. So yeah, I will definitely scan those areas. I'm running cameras pretty much from June on scouting. So by the time July 1st or middle of July comes, I know where my target is.
If you're anything like me, you love to customize your bow while always making sure everything is just spot on. That's why I trust Anthony and Chris over at Big D Custom Pro Shop. They're located on Route 15 in Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey, and they have everything you need to tune your bow. And I promise you're going to leave there with a smile on your face. So, if you live in northern New Jersey, give my boy Big D a shout for all your archery needs. When I head out to the woods, I have to know that I have the best performing equipment that I can afford. So that way I'm the only variable that I have to worry about. That's why I trust Fire Knock products for all my arrow and bow accessory needs. From arrow components to bow accessories like stabilizers and arrow rests, they have what you need. Dorge won't put anything on the market if it doesn't perform 50% better than what's already out there. So head on over to fireknock.com today to see what they're all about.
Hopefully,
And
hopefully.
hopefully, if not, there's a little bit of a
I'm
panic
still
mode.
looking, but I'm hoping.
Yeah. Now, if you put your cameras in June, when do you pull them out for the year?
I don't. I never actually. I'm just saying I'm going to start running bait probably again in that mid-May to June-ish. I'll start running again when I can start seeing what the bases are going to look like. Get an idea what kind of mature deer. I mean, you're not going to see racks, but you're going to have an idea of what's what. If you're going to have a big deer, you're going to you're going to start seeing browse mid-June or something like that, or end of June. So you have an idea if there's something good in there, and then you continue on. But yeah, my cameras will stay out unless I have a piece that either has a lot of pressure on it that I only use. I have like maybe 2 spots that are only rut spots. Like, okay, I know that's a transition piece. They're not going to be in there. The does transition in there for the food at a certain time. The bucks will follow after that. Doesn't hold anything. I'll pull my cameras for sure. But areas that I know more or less the herd is around, I'll keep my cameras there all year.
All right. And do you ever go like shed hunting through these spots, or are they like hunting only, like strictly hunting spots?
No, I'll shed hunt them pretty all the time, actually. I haven't done a lot of shed hunting this year. You said that kind of rattled my brain on what I'm doing this weekend. I haven't gotten out because I've been editing and doing all kinds of stuff, but I do need to get out. But I will absolutely punch in now in March. One of my favorite times of the year to get in the woods, actually, because you can see a lot. You see a lot that you don't see in October and November when most guys are in the deer woods. Even in December, too, guys aren't going to be punching into spots because they're looking, they're gun hunting. They're not going to be punching into thickets. You get in those thickets now, you can see how those deer are moving through those thickets, how they're bedding, maybe how they're using it for certain winds, what their trails look like, and it'll paint a picture for you for next year.
All right. And that's kind of the next spot I wanted to go with this, is kind of talking about what we could do this time of year. I mean, as we record this, it's March 12th. When it releases, maybe the end of March. But before we get into that, do you fear, is there ever a deer that you're like, you know what, he is way too skittish, I don't even want to go into his thicket, doesn't matter what time of year? Like, do you ever worry about boogering up a spot now for the season?
I don't think I have. I've never had a deer that I have necessarily gone through in March and that deer didn't show back up on camera in a week. Maybe even less. Again, I'm not going to go, if I'm going to go shed hunt a spot, I'm going to go shed hunt it for like 1 or 2 days and I'm out. I'm not going to go hit that spot for 2 weeks straight and blow everything out of Kansas. That's just not what I'm doing. I'm going to go hit it. I'll bring my dog in, maybe one other guy, and we'll grit it, and then we're out and we're gone. And no one's going back in there until the next March type of thing. I'm not. Maybe other guys are. Again, some of this is private, so I can't control it. But no, I really think in March, a lot of the deer they're grouped up, they're moving, they're used to some pressure right now. But no, I can't say that I pushed a deer out doing that kind of activity and they never came back outside of getting killed, like hit by a car. But I can't say that's ever happened to me personally.
Okay, awesome. Now let's say you're after a target buck. You know where he likes to be. Either you saw him or you didn't see him in the season. Either way, he got the jump on you. You didn't get a shot at him this year. What are you doing this time of year? It's the first day back into the woods. You're starting your scouting for next season. Walk us through your preparation. What are you doing sitting at home while you're trying to figure out a plan of action to get into the woods?
So exactly what you're saying is this buck right here. The year before I got him, I had him on camera. I don't know if you could see, he's super unique. He's got a double beam that comes out right here.
I didn't notice that.
He's got a 12-inch beam that comes out. It's pretty crazy.
That's awesome. That's sick.
Yeah, he's really, really cool, really unique. The point you can't see right now, he's actually got a unicorn point that comes off about 4 inches out of his forehead on the backside that you can't really see right now. But anyway, he's really unique. There's no way you can't miss him, right? And he had the same layout the year before. He never would move in daylight at all unless it was frigid cold and it was only first thing at light. I could never get him to, and he would pick me off twice. I will be totally humble and say he smoked me twice. Totally. I couldn't figure out where I was parking my truck. I couldn't tell if he was actually hearing the truck or if he was knowing where I was coming in. So I was like, all right, the next year I'm going to change something completely. But in March, I had to go into this swamp and find where the dry land was and how he was traversing these little humps to come around me and cut me off, because I didn't think where he popped out one time I thought was just water. And then all of a sudden he pops out and he's standing in the middle of the swamp, like on completely dry land. I'm like, what the hell is he standing on? So I had to get in there and I waited for March. That's when I went in. I found those little dry humps. I saw how he was going through the cattails and stayed perfectly dry the whole way and was downwind of me and kicked my butt. And I ended up changing my tactics to the next year because of what I did in March and saw that all those trails he was using that I couldn't see from where I was hunting. And I ended up parking 3/4 of a mile on the backside of the swamp and actually took a trail that was relatively close to his trail, but made sure the wind was blowing from him to me when I was coming down that trail, got into my piece, and he tried to do the same thing and missed me, and it was over. It was great.
That's all. Then when you set up, he was coming in downwind of you, so
which I didn't think was possible.
Right, because you thought it was all wet, or
it was totally water. It was like 12-foot cattails. The water that was near me in the cattails was at least 4 or 5 feet deep. Like I'm walking in, it's up to my chest. I'm like, the deer's not coming through there. I was wrong.
And you're going in with waders on, I'm assuming, or you just That's so cool. Like you're in it in there, man. That's great.
A little nutty.
And then, so I'm assuming you set up downwind of where he was coming in to wind you then?
So I set up downwind. I came in downwind of the trail that I knew he was using to make sure I got where I parked. I actually had to walk parallel to where his trail was, but made sure I was on the downwind side of it, and then set up downwind of where he entered the last time on me, about 30 yards. And he did the exact same thing on me. This time I wasn't in this stand. I was in this stand.
Right. That's amazing. Now, how does, obviously don't give away too much, but how does this terrain, property, area that you're hunting lay out? Like, is there like rolling hills? Is it, obviously it's wetland?
All different. These deer are all from different areas.
Mm-hmm.
I do like a lot of swampy stuff. I find some good deer in some swampy stuff. This was a totally dry patch of big timber that had acorn flats, no water, nothing, totally different deer. So yeah, it all changes. I do tend to lend myself to swamps. My bear was in a swamp. I just like it. I don't know why. It's a pain in the butt, but I just find that some gnarly stuff in some of those nasty swamps that a lot of guys will stay away from, especially on public land. Guys are going to look at swamps and be like, I'm not getting wet. I don't blame you, man. I don't want to either, but sometimes you got to if you're going to find something.
I got a couple of those kind of spots in my head, but most of them are pheasant hunted.
Okay.
So they're like, they're getting hit pretty, once October, what is it? October, I think they start releasing birds.
Yeah.
Like once they start doing that.
November. Or for Jersey, it's November.
Yeah. And what stinks is I feel like when they release the birds in Jersey, we're just getting into the hot,
100%.
like the thick of it.
Yep.
So me as like a pointer owner, I'm like, what do I do? It's like I don't hunt in my backyard, so
Sure.
I bring my if I go bird hunting, that's it for the day, because I bird hunt an hour away from where I live.
Yes.
So for me to go back out, it's like
a lot. Yeah,
it is a lot.
Yeah, I get it.
So do you ever worry about blood trails? Like that's my biggest thing. Because I do like the idea of hunting around water, but how do you combat a blood trail in that kind of stuff?
So it's not, I wouldn't say it's any different in the concept that a lot of them are in that thicker stuff, and that thicker stuff catches blood pretty good. If a deer runs through cattails, you're going to see some blood spray in a tunnel. You don't even have to bend down. It's vertical.
Okay.
So, but yes, it does bring a challenge, especially if they cross water. I've had some deer jump in a river and swim across it as a lab and die 15 yards on the other side of it. And maybe if I didn't see it or the blood trail short was bad, I would have lost it. It would have been gone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, water can definitely be tricky. It's one of those things where you kind of want to set yourself up for success. If I'm going to be in an area that has a lot of water, I'll try and set myself up as a bow hunter. I'll set myself up 100 plus yards away from the water's edge to give that deer a chance to expire before it gets to water. And hopefully that's enough time. We've all had I had a shot on the deer that I shot this year, which I thought was a 10 ring. When you see the video, you're going to be like, what? I absolutely smoked him. It was just a hair low, but when I ended up opening up the deer, I actually got both lungs, but one lung just wasn't dead center. It was just a little low. The other one I blew out, and he went over 300 yards. I couldn't believe it. Actually, when I shot him and I walked out to go get him, he was bedded. He picked his head up and he got up and walked away. I left. I was like, all right, there's no way I'm bumping this deer. It's too nice. Went back and got one of the better dogs in New Jersey. I got Darren, the tracker. I'm like, dude, I sent him the video. He's like, you don't need me. That deer is dead. 100%. I'm like, please just come in the morning. He was on the deer in like 8 minutes.
Right.
Went right to it. We found the blood. He's like, "You didn't need me." I was like, "I'm just glad you're here, man. That's all. Thank you so much." So I'm not one of those guys that's not going to say I'll never use a dog. I think they're awesome. They're amazing. And in that situation, it was an amazing tool, and I loved watching them work. But again, smoked him. He went 300 yards. Whatever. It's just one of those things that, sometimes it happens. And I got a pass. It still blows my mind that the deer, but he said to me, it was during the rut. He's like, "This happens to me every year." He goes, "Guys will make a great shot on a big buck during the rut, and they just got the juice, man, and they're just going." So it happens. But yeah, water can be an issue. I got on a little bit of tangent there, but water can definitely be an issue, but try and plan for the best you can and make the best shot, and we see what happens. That's all we can do.
Yeah. I mean, that's a testament to like the will to just keep going that these animals have. Like I've heard the stories, like, oh, I shot a deer and I opened him up and he was, he already had a collapsed lung. Like it's like, how?
Yeah. I'm telling you, I've shot a lot, close to 100 deer of bow. I don't know how this deer made it 300 yards with no lungs. It just blows my mind.
And I know you're a fan of the mechanicals too. So I know it's not like, you're using a small broadhead. It's
It was a Sever 2.0 that opened up, put a huge gash in him. There was blood, like the whole bit. I'll never. I posted it on Facebook actually. A couple people, and everyone's like, "I'm like, how far did this deer run? How far did this deer run? Perfect." Everyone's like, "Oh, 10 ring, 10 ring." I'm like, "Nice, 312 yards." They're like, "What? No
That's
way."
incredible.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes you never know.
So I find it interesting that you called a dog tracker in. I honestly would have thought that you would have your own dogs working that kind of stuff, or are they strictly duck dogs?
So my dog will track a deer. Okay.
Mhm.
But in New Jersey, you cannot take your personal dog to track a deer. It's illegal.
I thought they opened it up.
Unless that just changed in a year or so.
I think last year, I could have my states mixed up, but because I almost brought my dog out finally.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember if it has to be leashed or if they have to be trained. If I could be getting Jersey,
I could be wrong, but
we're gonna.
Yeah, take a look at it.
Oh, we're taking
because I have been told that there's a licensed dog trainers, licensed trackers, but I did not check on it this year as a new regulation or something like that. So very, very possible could have changed. That being said, that buck, nope, wasn't playing any games, wasn't gonna chance it.
Okay, yeah, no, this is no person shall at any time for any reason hunt or hunt for, track, search, seek, capture, or kill wild deer with a dog. Provision is subsection may use a person permitted by the Division of Fish and Wildlife may use a certified tracking dog on a lead to search and recover a deer.
You got to be certified by the state.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So now in my dog in New York, my buddy, we took no problem. He tracked down a doe for my buddy over 300 yards. He found it. Great. Blah, 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 blah. Not doing it in New Jersey. I was filming. Everything has to be, I'm not playing any games.
Yeah.
So I cover, and Darren, if you've ever heard of Darren's name, he's one of the best in the state. He's got an incredible dogs. I got to watch his dog Rita work, who I genuinely hope I never have to call, but if I do, I will welcome seeing him and her because they're awesome. But great dog work.
What kind of dogs were they running? I can't remember the guy I called in Jersey a couple years ago.
Dachshunds.
2 or 1?
He ran 1.
Okay.
He has others. One just passed away recently.
Okay.
But the one he ran, Rita, is a younger dog. I forget her age, but he has multiple. Yes.
Okay. Because I had one. I had last season when I hit my doe. I called in a dog tracker and the guy had 2 dogs with him. One was a dachshund and the other one was something else. And it was in the truck. And it was an older gentleman. He had like this booklet with them and showed me like the anatomy of the deer and like where I hit him and stuff. It was the coolest thing. And it was like, I had the video. So I showed it to him and he was like, "I don't know. Should we go look for it?" And we looked at the film and he's like, "Yeah, I definitely think we should try to track this deer." Unfortunately, we couldn't find it. Like that's the first deer I ever didn't recover.
Got it.
So 20 years into my hunting career, it's like, whoa, what is this feeling?
It's tough.
It was a weird one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I was getting it mixed up with because I hunt Jersey, PA, and New York. So maybe I was getting that reg mixed up with the New
Jersey.
York
They've been pretty sticklers on it because they post every year the list of the guys that are licensed or certified, whatever the correct terminology may be, that you can call them, and they're great guys, and they don't charge a fee, but take care of them. Give them they need gas money and their time and all that stuff is valuable. I know some guys, I don't know. There's no set fee. I'm not going to get into that. We can do probably a whole nother podcast on that.
Sure. Yeah.
But just make sure you're doing the right thing. Give them enough value for their time.
Yeah. Now, as a dog handler, I'm not going to ask you your opinion on the thing because unless you want to share it, that's up to you. But why do you think Jersey has that? Why do you think? Because I've always wondered, Like, why, if I think my dog's good enough and it's on a leash, why can't I take my own dog in the woods and track my own deer?
Man, Jersey's Jersey. I guess that's the only answer I could give you, right? I mean, some of the rules are just ridiculous. Again, I genuinely appreciate the opportunities we have here, but I feel like that we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot a lot in this state, starting with the bear hunt. You know, we're going to bait, but we got to be 100 yards away from it, even though if I can get a bear at 20 yards broadside calm and make an ethical shot on a big bear, why would you not want me to do that? Okay. Deer tracking, if I have a dog that I think can do it, why can't I do it? Especially if it's on private. If you don't want me going through a WMA or public, I get it. I get it. Other guys can be hunting. I don't want to push deer, blah, 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 blah. But on private, why not? The other big thing, another stupid one, again, we're getting on a tangent, but coyote hunting. We can use a rifle during the day, but we can't use it at night. Every other state around us, you can use them at night. And you call them and you ask them and they say, oh, we don't want you guys shooting deer at night. If someone's going to break the rule and shoot a deer at night, the fact that they're telling you that you can't, I mean, come on, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So there's some things out there that just don't make sense to me. Maybe they'll get changed one day, but I don't have that power.
It's the same thing with hunting on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, from what I understand, it was like a trial run where they were doing the WMAs and the private property on Sundays.
Right.
I haven't heard of anything bad happening, you know, like, and honestly, in today's day where, you know, people don't have the whole weekend off anymore. Some people have
Right.
2 jobs, you know what I mean? Like, some people, maybe Sunday is the only day they have to go
got.
hunting.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, I don't understand the holdup. And to me, it's kind of crazy, not to poo poo on our neighboring states, but when New York's season is a little bit more lenient than Jersey's, I think Jersey needs to change it. Something.
I've had this conversation a couple times, especially even with some wardens. And there was a time in which when we had to take our deer to check stations. I understand people didn't want to work those check stations on a Sunday. Totally get it. They no longer exist, right? Everything's electronic now. So what's the reason? Like, come on, let's move along here.
Which, I'll be honest with you, I miss the check-in station.
I
miss the check-in station
awesome.
more than anything.
Yeah.
You know,
you get a little taste of it with the bear, but that's about it.
Exactly. And I wish they had optional, like maybe a couple places still did it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, and it was optional. Like, if somebody wanted to work a check-in station,
right,
and they were willing to not get paid for it, you know, because how do I put this without giving out the spot? Where we grew up hunting, there was this one spot. There was a diner we would all hang out at, and it was where we stopped for breakfast in the morning, and it's where we wanted to go check in our deer in the afternoon. And you know, you pull up, and if you saw more than 2 guys hanging out in a truck, you knew there was a deer in there.
That's awesome.
And it didn't matter how small it was or how big it was. It was just, you were going over there congratulating them, and it was just this.
That's the best.
That's what I'm saying,
yeah.
Right? And, you know, we were just talking earlier about how our community needs to stick together more.
Yes.
But everything that had us banding together is, I feel like, going away.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's stores that aren't even selling camo gear anymore. You know, like,
yep.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I agree 100%. I'll tell you right now, if there was deer check-in stations, my fiance would probably kick my butt on Saturdays because I'd be go hanging out there with a cooler and hanging out a little bit with the guys and just seeing what's coming in, man. You got a 6-pointer, that's your first buck, man. High five. That's awesome.
Exactly. And I mean, honestly, dude, you could probably sit there with your camera and take pictures with them too.
Would love to.
Dude, can you
would
imagine
love
how
to.
awesome, how
I would
awesome
love
that be?
to. Absolutely love to.
We got to start that up. We're calling into Jersey. We're going to make this happen. So we're at about 45 minutes here. I want to talk to you about, if you're going, like we talked earlier about, if there was a deer you had history with, you didn't get him in the year, what are you doing this time of year to kind of plan for next year? Let's say now you're going into a brand new, fresh place. Let's say it's a new lease. So it's not even public land that you just happened to be on at one point. It's a brand new lease. You've never been on it before. You have some terrain, a little bit of water, but there's no ag. You're hunting just hardwoods and some water. Let's have it.
Okay, so first thing, even this time of year with, like, you know, mass crops are not producing, I'm still going to be able to walk the piece and find what trees may be producing and find out where those mass crops may be. This time of year with no leaf cover, no underbrush, it's the best time to cover every piece of that woods. You're going to find water sources, you're going to find funnels, you're going to find trails, you're going to find those mass crops or lack thereof, if you will, and maybe you have to supply some food in some way, baiting, whatever it be, food plots, but I'm going to cover every single square inch of it. I'm not worried about blowing deer out right now. I'm not worried about doing anything. I need to know every single inch of that piece of property so I can figure out how they're using it, what's missing or what's there, and fill in the gaps that are needed. And then I personally love to hang stands at this time of the year because you can get up, you can see travel corridors from the stands, You can get up cleanly. It's not, it's not August and you're dying in 90 degrees. Yeah, I mean, it's, again, it's going to be up there for a couple extra months as long as you're diligent on your gear. It shouldn't really matter if you're pulling it back down and checking at the end of the season. Some guys, were like, no, I'm not going to put it up 3 months early, 4 months early. Okay, that's your personal thing. I personally like to go and hang a stand right now, and I'll check it 2 or 3 more times as the summer's going, and I'll cut lanes and do what I got to do later. But I love to get up now and see what I'm looking at over and how they're going to move through the area. But again, I'm not worried about blowing out the area. I'm not worried about getting any kind of scent in the area. I'm just going to get in tight. I'm going to cover every single square inch and see what's missing and see how they're using it and kind of make a game plan from there.
I gotcha. Now, are you the stands that you're hanging? Are they hang-ons? Are you saddle hunting?
Nope. I have not dove into the saddle game yet. Not saying I won't, but it's pretty much all hang-ons. The amount of camera gear I'm looking up right now is ridiculous, but it's definitely necessary. So yeah, all my sets are hang-ons. I'm not a huge fan of ladder stands just because me personally, I've actually seen big deer skirt them, like definitely pick them out and skirt them. But yeah, for me personally, I'm a big fan of the XOP hang-ons. They're super light. They're they're not cheap, but they're not like crazy expensive. There are some more expensive brands out there and
they have awesome deals. Always.
Awesome.
They're always running deals, bro.
Amazing.
Dude.
I have no reason to buy another stand. I'll be completely honest with you. Unless someone gives me a better reason, which would be hard to do. I have about 14 of those, and I go, they go up. They're my
they get used.
They get used.
Dude, last year I bought the retrograde. So my listeners have heard this before, so I'll just give you like a quick rundown. I tried the saddle for the first time in the summer. I had a tree stand fall out on me when I was a kid. So its heights are kind of like iffy for me. I'm comfortable in a hang on, something with a decent platform. As long as I can stand up and turn around, I'm usually comfortable. So when I went up in the saddle for the first time and I didn't have a full foot on it, my body froze. I could go strong side and come around the tree, no problem. But when I had to turn my back around and just be looking out over so I was like, fuck this, I'm selling it. So I sold it. And as soon as I went out on my first hunt, I said, that was a mistake. So instead I bought the saddle again, but I didn't buy the platform, and I bought the retrograde platform instead. Dude, I absolutely love that thing. Nice. I'm a small guy. You're definitely a big. How tall are you?
I'm about 6'1", about 220.
Okay. All right. I'm 5'5.5" on a good day. So like I got small feet. I wear 10.5 boots, fit the socks in. So it's just enough space for me to be able to do a full turnaround.
Got it.
And it's big enough for me to do that, small enough for me to use as a saddle, and it's fantastic.
That's awesome, man.
I haven't gotten my process down yet for hanging my gear.
Okay.
Like now I've gotten like my steps up. I'm able to get my platform in good. But this past season was my first real season with a real camera and a full camera arm and everything. And it's like, dude, it is.
It's a lot.
So now I'm going through my shit. I had everything laid out and I was like, what can I get rid of?
Yeah.
What don't I need? Yep. And I'm like, shit, I need everything.
Yeah, everything. What else can I bring?
Exactly. Because you had the same issue as me. You were running GoPros for a while, and I know you were trying to unload them. Were you able to get rid of them? Or?
Yeah, so I moved them. I was using them as second and third and fourth angles and stuff. If we're going to get into that real quick, GoPro's great, fine, fantastic. There's some other options out there. I personally like them better. The camera. The only thing I didn't like about GoPro is the remote connectivity is trash. I'm sorry. There's just nothing. There was a way around it.
I agree.
It's just I lost footage on a buck this year that my buddy shot because I couldn't control it and it drove me nuts. I'm running 2 other huge full frame cameras over us, and we're running those as secondaries on the ground. I need to be able to at least turn them on or off. And it wasn't functioning. So I went to what do I got now? The Action 5s, and they're awesome cameras. Better footage, great audio. Remote is phenomenal. One negative, the remote battery is not as good as the GoPro, so I have to keep it on if I'm going to be out for more than 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, got to keep it on a charger or keep it plugged into a battery bank or something like that. That's my only negative I found right now. And but they work great.
So it's funny because it sounds like the GoPro and this new one that you got are like mirror opposites of each other.
Yeah.
And so it's like the remote works great, but the remote dies. And the GoPro
remote lasts forever.
Literally forever.
Yes.
So I had the same problem you did, and here's what I found. When the camera goes into standby and then it's in standby for too long, the remote disconnects. and then you have to go and physically manually reconnect them.
Do it after 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Here's what I did. And I figured it out this season, and it's a pain in the ass, but separate battery pack. Like I have like a portable battery pack always when I go hunting for my phone or whatever.
Okay.
So I keep the GoPro plugged into it, and I turn standby off on the GoPro. So the GoPro just runs all day long.
Okay.
And as long as the camera never goes to sleep, I never lose connectivity. It's a pain in the balls, but it gets the job done.
I could see that
for the time being.
I could see that. Yeah, the ones I was having trouble with were the ones that I was putting out past the bait or whatever. The one that I had as the fourth or third angle was back on the shooter. That never lost connectivity because it was only 3 yards away or 2 yards away on an outreach arm. But the ones that were 22 or 23 yards away, those were disconnecting, and I was like, all right, I'm literally throwing them out.
Right, GoPro, you got to do better. I doubt you're listening, but if you're listening, you guys got to do better. You were the original. They were the original like action camera. You know what I mean? And they're on their 13th, 14th generation now.
Yeah, no. And the low light of the new action cam, if you have a chance to check it out, blows the 13 or whatever model of GoPro that's out right now. It blows out of the water. It's really good. And we're doing a lot of waterfowl stuff, so I'm doing a lot of low light. It's phenomenal. It really is nice.
My cousin's been raving about that. I think it's the DJI. That's
what it is.
The 360 camera.
Oh, so no, I don't have the 360. No, I don't.
Okay.
The DJI. Are you talking about the oh God, it's not DJI is the action cam. That's the one I have. But there's another one that's a 360. That's the what the hell's the brand of that? I haven't bought that yet, but I was looking at it.
I couldn't tell you. My cousin
He loves it.
He absolutely loves it. And honestly, it's like the way the camera works, like that 360 is incredible because like it'll be on him, and then as he's turning it, it looks like it's like zooming out.
That's cool.
And then zooming back in.
That's cool.
It's freaking awesome.
That's cool.
You know, and he was able to get me show me footage of the deer he shot this year, and
that's neat.
I was like, shit, man, you're gonna make me spend more fucking money.
That same company came out with a 1-inch sensor version of that. It's like $900, and I was looking at it because I want it for turkey season to put it by the decoy, and that'll be a perfect. So I spend more money, but that's a whole other tangent.
Tell me about it. So we kind of came in here with a plan, but this kind of just turned into like a good old let's have a beer bullshit session. You know, I'm kind of all about it. I kind of want to pick your brain on the coyote hunting here a little bit, and then if you wouldn't mind joining me again in another week or two, I'd love to talk specifically about turkey because I've never hunted turkey before. I'm pretty much like as novice gets.
Okay,
but I have a good flock on my property that I'm trying to figure out how to hunt.
Nice.
You know, but we also have an awful coyote problem.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
How do you guys hunt them with dogs? Do you hunting them with calls? Night like what?
Yeah, so we're using electronic callers, Fox Pros, or whatever you want, but we use Fox Pros. We also have thermals for when we're out of New Jersey. We're running helmet mounted monos and gun mounted thermal mounted rifles. So we got the rig, man. We got some really nice setups that you could have some fun with. But yeah, we're calling them in this time of year. This time of year gets a little difficult, but a month and a half ago was a lot of breeding calls, a lot of coyote vocals and or distress. And I mean, you guys open it up now because Pennsylvania, you guys can go 365 all year round, have a blast. So we actually run over there a lot, across the river, and hit those the national forest fields and all that, the recreational fields. And they're there, man. You guys got a lot of cats and you guys got some dogs. We do too. There's a ton, but we can't hunt them properly. You can't hunt them properly at night. It's just Jersey just locks you up, man. During the day, you can get out. I didn't get out as much this year as I have in the past. I might actually get out this weekend on a buddy's piece. He's got 1,200 acres in South Jersey, and he's absolutely infested with them, and we haven't gotten down there yet.
How the hell do you get 1,200 acres in Jersey?
He's got a hook, man. It's a company property, and it's a beautiful piece of property, but he's definitely got a lot of dogs, and so we're going to go down there and do a bunch of sits and cover some ground and see what we could do. We've had a lot of success in the past. I can't see it right now, but I see
the tail. That's
a bobcat. That's a Virginia bobcat. I've called in, I don't even know how many cats in New Jersey, and you just got to let them walk. And the coyote hunting is amazing. The biggest thing I'll say, and again, I'm learning every day with it. We have a blast with it. By no means are we saying that we're better than anybody, but we have pretty good success. But the biggest thing I think people make a mistake is that they kind of play the wind the same way they do with a deer, and that's not really the right way. It's okay to have the wind in your face if there's some kind of barrier behind you that the coyote cannot get around you. And I say around you, I mean like 100 yards behind you, because he will cut your wind and you're gone. So I prefer to hunt crosswinds, and we'll put that caller, if the wind's going from my left to my right, that caller will end up way off to my way off to my left, way upwind. So if that coyote cuts me, he's cutting it 20-30 yards below me, which is probably 80-90 yards behind the caller, and now he's at 50 yards or whatever it is. That's the biggest thing I think people kind of screw up, is make them cut into an open area on a crosswind, and you'll see a lot more dogs. That's just worked for me. So I see a lot of guys talk about, I can make sure you got the wind, which is absolutely right. But I can't tell you how many times we've had the wind, you get up and you're hunting the snow and you're walking out, and 70 yards behind you, you cut a track and you're like, God damn it.
Dude, I wish I don't know if you mentioned it in the last one or if I missed it, but I wish I would have known, dude. I would have invited you up to come shoot some freaking dogs on our property, because
we'll have to do
they're everywhere.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Like, so I went up, I went to go do my first snow track this year, and I ended up tracking a decent doe. I had already shot a doe that year, so at that point I had already shot my doe with the rifle. I didn't want to take another one. But all I saw for like the first couple miles of walking on our trails were dog tracks. And don't get me wrong, like I was zigzagging. Yeah. When I say miles, I mean I know
what you mean. Yeah,
but it was dog tracks everywhere.
Wow.
And it was always like in the same places, and then they would veer off off into the woods, and then circle back around, and it was like, but I never see them when I'm in the tree, ever.
They're slippery.
I never see them.
They are so slippery. I love hunting them because they are so challenging, man. The cats are not nearly as challenging. The cats they'll give you a little different thing. A cat will sit in the same spot, and we can watch them on the thermals. They'll come in and they'll get to 120 yards, and they'll sit in a bush for 45 minutes and not move and wait for you to make a mistake. And then they'll just vanish if you just twitch the wrong way or whatever. Coyotes are a little different. They'll hook you. They're constantly moving. They're checking the wind. But if they commit, they're committing. They're coming.
Mm-hmm.
But they're fun, man. They're a lot of fun to hunt.
Is it true what they say? Because the old wives' tale, I guess, when you were growing up, was when you see a pack of coyote, don't be so worried. When you see one coyote, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Is there any truth to that?
100. Well, I mean, for the most part, I would say yes. A pack is going to be a hierarchy, and they're not going to make necessarily mistakes, or they're not desperate. Where like that one-off may be desperate. I've seen it a couple times turkey hunting, where you see a gnarly, mangy, nasty single coyote that's coming in broad daylight, like doing dumb things that, like, man. And then he sees a person, he doesn't care, and I've almost gotten bit a couple times. Yeah, and
really,
like, always by like that one-off, gnarly, nasty, desperate dog. Never by a pack. I mean, I've been followed out of the woods multiple times by packs, and I'm not going to say, you get a little puckered up, I'm not going to lie.
Sure, yeah.
But that's
they're getting close.
They're getting close. They're yipping 15 yards behind you, going nuts. But that single, I agree with you. That's that statement. They're generally desperate for whatever reason, and you never know what can happen.
So the way it was put to me was that when you see a solo coyote, that could be like the spotter, if you will, like the dog that goes. So the way it was explained to me was like one coyote will go out and find a prey and signal the other ones to kind of like
corral it,
come in or circle around or corral or whatever. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but
well, I know that happens with farm dogs all the time. Mm-hmm. All my guys that have dogs and all the guys that are up in the rural areas, and it happens every year, unfortunately, they'll send out like a younger dog out into a big pasture where a dog's running around, and they'll chase it, and they'll have it, get close, and that farm dog or person's pet will chase it into the timber line. As soon as it gets into that timber line, the rest are right there, and that's it. It's all over.
Wow.
That happens all the time.
That's so cool.
I mean, it's super smart. You got to appreciate what they're doing. It's strategic. It sucks, but it's strategic.
Yeah. Now with for as much as we kind of poo-poo on Jersey every now and then, like they've actually done something nice in the last few years. We've been able to acquire concealed carry permits. And from the last I knew, you're allowed to bring them in the woods with you as long as you have your concealed carry permit.
Yes.
Are you now, when you go coyote hunting after being bit a couple times, I'm assuming you're bringing protection in with you?
Yeah, I have. I'll be honest, not all the time by any means. But if we're coyote hunting, I'm probably not bringing it. But if I'm baiting, or if I'm scouting a piece, or if we're doing something else, sometimes I'll be carrying. If I'm actually coyote hunting, it's funny, the times that I've had like a pack on me doing something, it's never been when I'm coyote hunting.
Of course.
It's been like walking in at 3 o'clock into a duck spot, or going in early on a turkey spot, or I had a spot where I had rolled an ATV and I sliced my leg open, and I was walking out of the woods and I had like 6 of them on my ass, and I was like,
well, that one doesn't surprise me. They've got
no,
fresh
yeah, they
blood,
smelled
fresh
it.
blood,
It's never been when I had a 204, a 223 in my hand, and I'm like, all right,
Sure.
let's go. No, that's never happened.
You're gonna call me crazy, but I got a 17 HMR to shoot coyotes with.
It's not, well, I'm not gonna call you crazy. I'm gonna say you're limiting yourself.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna call you crazy. But you will do the job. If you put it in the ear hole, you hit him in the head.
Yep.
If you hit him in the lungs, you're gonna have a runner. I don't care,
Sure.
unless it's 50 yards. But they're a great gun. I mean, that's a great little round.
Yeah.
We shoot 17 Hornets for foxes and coyotes and cats, and with 204s are my favorite coyote round for around here, because that for fur. If you're trying to save fur, if you're not trying to save fur, 223 or whatever the hell you want to,
or whatever, 308,
whatever
6.
cannon. I don't whatever you want, man. But if you're trying to save fur, that 204 with a hollow point burger just goes in, makes a pencil hole in, doesn't come out generally, and it's just pristine.
That's awesome.
Same with a cat.
Okay. I would love to learn how to do, like, I don't think I would have the patience. Like, I've seen what it takes to do like a deer, like a deer skin or something like that. But to make like just like those strips of like the coyote pelts or something like that, like I would love to just try it once, just to appreciate the process and know what goes into it, So to wrap this up today, first off, I want to ask you, what do your plans look like for turkey season? We're gonna have you back on talk about turkey here in a little bit. But are you a traveling turkey hunter? Are you pretty much tri-state area? Like, what does your turkey season typically look like?
Yeah, so Jersey, it'll be the cornerstone. We usually are good for a handful of birds every year with a group of guys. This year, I have two spots in New York that I've been invited to either hunt or film. I don't care. I actually prefer to film now, get some good content. So I will be jumping around, and maybe PA, but that's iffy. The person, anyway, mostly in New Jersey. I have not gone out west for turkeys. It's been all Jersey. So hopefully we can knock down. We're usually pretty good for a few birds. You saw some footage, the last ones that we put up. Those were last year's birds that were on my old camera gear. This year it's all the new camera gear, the really good stuff. So I'm really looking forward to laying that down, some really high-end stuff. But it's a fun sport, man. It's a blast. There, everyone says, oh, you're gonna chase a bird with a pea-sized brain. Okay, well, go out there and tell me how that pea-sized brain gets you. You feel pretty stupid sometimes, but I guess we love it. It's a blast, man. So yeah, you ever get on some birds, you want to go, let me know. I'll come out and film you anytime. That'd
be awesome. I mean, I don't know what you're doing the first weekend in May, but we're looking to possibly do like a turkey camp.
Okay.
Maybe at the family cabin. I gotta get the logistics together and figure all that out.
Yeah.
But
let me know.
Be pretty cool.
Let me know. I'll come and run
or
up.
If you're looking for somewhere in PA, man, I got plenty of public land here. Where my school is at, like the school I teach in, I'm in a freaking state park. So like every time I drive through and I see a flock of turkey, I mark it on Onyx. Like, I know they're not always going to be in the same place, but at least I know there's turkey there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can get rolling with that. So that'd be pretty cool to link up with that.
Would love to, man. That would love to. The one thing that's crazy about turkeys, and I've been doing it for a while now, but I'm still learning, is it blows my mind every year when I can find a bird on the exact same limb. And I know it's not the same bird because I shot a bird off that same spot the year before, but another Tom will go into that exact area and sit on that exact limb for whatever reason. They just pick those trees like a big buck picks a swamp, or a bench that they love. The Toms do the same thing. I love that part of it. It's really cool.
That's awesome. Cause like you think about deer and like they're intelligent. You know what I mean? Like, deer know what they're doing. They pick spots for a certain reason. Has there been as much study into turkey behavior and why they pick the areas they do? And
I'm sure there is. I'm not smart enough to talk about it. I haven't read those stories of those studies. I'm sure there are, because there's some guys that are turkey brains that are phenomenal about it. I'm pretty good. I can kill some birds, but I'd be lying to say I know the science behind about it. But to see how they roost in the exact same areas every time, there's definitely something to it, whether it's view, whether it's a certain area because of food, whatever the case may be, or a mixture of all of it. But I really love that concept of it, because when you were talking about picking a deer spot, shooting a buck, and then coming back for a mature deer, I would say it's tenfold for a turkey. It's almost every year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, they also mature faster, right? It's like, I think it's like takes 2 years for a turkey to mature to a Tom.
Yes.
So it makes sense how it would fill in a little bit faster.
Yes.
That's cool.
Agreed.
2 more questions for you. you running tack at all this year? You shooting tack? You have any interest?
I'd be interested. Yeah, sure. I don't know much about it, but yeah.
All right, my buddy and I we're going out to the tack event in Vermont. We're going up at, well, it's tentative. We already planned it. My wife is due like literally less than a month before tack starts.
Wow.
And she was gracious enough to say, go ahead and like, book it or whatever, and like we'll see what it looks like when the time comes.
Sure.
So as of now, we're going.
Okay.
Turkey season could also be under that umbrella too. So
Okay.
it's all tentative based on that. But
Sure.
we do have a slot registered. I think it was like 6 to a group, and we only have 2. We only have 2 in our group.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about it. I'm
a buddy,
intrigued.
man. Off the air, we can chat about it. I'll tell you a little bit about it. I'll send you the link and all that stuff, and
Cool.
we can figure all that out. Last question: turkey, shotgun or bow, and why?
What? Okay, shotgun. If you're just getting into it, I would give yourself a shotgun for obvious reasons. It's a lot easier. You definitely don't need a 12 gauge anymore. The options, a jersey, you can only go down to a 20 as of right now. Next year, they're going to give you a 410, and you can
Really?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. So that'll be great. 20 gauge is more than enough with the TSS, all that good stuff. Bow is phenomenal. It's so much fun. It's so much harder if you're not in a blind. If you're in a blind, I don't particularly like hunting out of blinds for turkeys. Nothing against anyone that does. Fantastic, especially for kids. That's phenomenal. But I like to be up against a tree. I like to feel that gobble hit me in the chest. And, that's just part of the game. But if I had to pick one, I would say, if I had to pick one, I guess it would be the bow. It's just to shoot a turkey with the bow outside of the blind is very challenging, really challenging. I'm hoping to get a couple on film this year with the bow outside of the blind because you don't see it often. But it's a blast, man. It's just everything's got to be perfect.
Okay, and here I am crazy, I guess, because I'm planning on going out with my bow for 2 reasons. One, I've just put so much time into my bow that like I just want to get it done. Second, I don't have a turkey choke, and I don't want to go buy one.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
that's kind of where we're at. But how about this, Jersey? You keep your 410 for another couple years and just open the damn turkey season from beginning to end.
Yes.
I'm so like, all right, for the listeners who don't know,
It's ridiculous.
Jersey has technically 5 different turkey seasons,
You need
right?
a PhD. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And basically it's like you could choose Monday through Friday for one of 4 weeks or all the Saturdays for those 4 weeks. And there's your 5 different seasons.
And you can,
It's
here's the other thing, and
ridiculous.
people don't realize this, is if those, and they sell out, there's quotas for those locations, they're all set up into zones, and you got to find the tags, and they sell out for each area, blah, 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 blah. If your zone does not sell out, you could technically shoot a bird a day in that zone. Oh yeah, see, that's what people don't realize. If you look at the rules, if let's say your first week, which is A week, goes A week, B week, C week, D week, and then E week is all those Saturdays. If your area is not sold out, you go out on the first week, A week, the first day on that Monday, you shoot a bird. Get online, grab another A week tag, shoot another one on Tuesday, do it again for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then get your E week tag for Saturday, start again on B week. You could shoot 20 birds, 30 birds, whatever it is.
No way.
I don't know the exact number. We do the math, but you could shoot as many birds as you want if you keep buying tags.
That's 24 for the record.
There you go.
But that's insane.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
People don't realize that. As long as they're available, you could just keep buying them. Just keep buying them.
See, that's probably the one good thing about being a resident in Jersey or being someone that hunts in Jersey is that we have so many deer. Guys, Jersey hunting isn't the easiest thing in the world, but we have so many deer that they're just like, pay us what we ask you to pay, and you can shoot what you want.
Shootable.
That's pretty much what Jersey says. And there's not enough hunters to take care of the issue. So
and the doe hunting in
tags.
Jersey, you're not even paying. You get it one tag for some areas, and you have unlimited does. You could shoot 40 does with one tag.
Exactly.
Which is that gets can get a little crazy on that side of it too. But there's plenty of opportunity. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take it up. I just found out last week I went shed hunting for my very first time ever. That's what I wanted to ask. I have it written down. I forgot. I can't believe it.
Oh, you got
I'm so mad. So I went out shed hunting for my very first time last week, and I didn't find any sheds, and I didn't find the sign I was hoping for. I didn't find a lot of rubs. I didn't really find that kind of stuff, bedding sign or anything like that. I did find a couple rubs, but what I found were 3 or 4 bare scrapes still in March. Not bare, but like cleared scrapes. If you find a scrape that has no leaves in it at this point of the year and everything else around it is leaf covered, is that something that you're putting into the bank for come season time?
Definitely. I would say what you just described to me is a corridor. It's like a transient corridor between two blocks of timber or something like that. That sounds like what you're describing to me, but 100%. I mean, they're moving through there. Definitely an area that they're stopping for a reason, either marking a territory or they feel like there's other deer that are coming through there. But definitely anytime they're making a rub, anytime they're making a scrape, anytime you're finding a bed, any of those three things, mark it on Onyx or whatever you're using, use it to your advantage somehow.
Yeah, it's a couple, without giving away too much information, it's a couple of thicker patches between a bunch of like cornfields, but then there's also like public walking trails and like a campground over there as well.
Okay.
You know, so it's like it's kind of residential, but like it's ag, so you know the deer are gonna be in there.
There for sure.
You know, it's just a matter of, are they using it at night? Are they using it during the day?
Right.
You know, is that a spot where I got to slip in like early season and try to get it done before, you know, the bird hunters go out?
Or the ag goes away or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
I got you.
And then I found out that last year they had beans and corn. Hopefully
Which
this
is good
year
and
they do the
bad.
same. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it makes it really difficult.
exactly. But it's literally like a hop, skip, and a jump from my work, and
Nice.
it's like it's easy for, like, I can't bring a rifle to school with me, but I feel comfortable putting my bow in the car, and then I could just drive right off and do what I got to do.
Definitely. Yeah, if you're seeing sign of some sort, man, that's better than not, man. Get in there.
Okay.
Check it out.
I'll take it. All right, Brian, I want to thank you again for joining us. I mean, I had a blast. This conversation was,
Yeah,
you
man.
know, last time it was kind of focused on that one thing, and you know, it's kind of nice to learn a little bit more about you, a little bit about your tactics, how you like to break things down and stuff like that. You know, like I said, next time you come on, I'd like to talk about turkey season, kind of how you break it down, maybe pick a certain aspect of turkey hunting, whether it's calling or tracking or scouting or whatever, and kind of focus on that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you have anything that we didn't touch on? Anything that you want to share with the listeners at all?
No, I think we covered a lot. We definitely touched on a lot of
It really
stuff.
did. We kind of, yeah.
I think one of the things that you talked about at the very beginning that I think maybe I'll harp on right now is the fact that, you know, we have enough pressure from non-hunting groups right now dividing us in ways that we can't control. Let's try and do the best we can to keep us together, even if you don't agree with necessarily something that he's doing. As long as it's legal, give him a high five, pat him on the back, say you help him out in some way, or give him a thumbs up, and let's see what we can do to help it out, because we are a diminishing group drastically.
Yeah, I second that, man. I love all that. And where can our listeners go to find you, to find your content, watch some of these videos?
So we're on Facebook and we're on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Timber Life Outdoors. On Instagram, it's Timber_Life_Outdoors. And on YouTube, it's Timber Life Outdoors. You'll see the page. You know, we only have two or three videos up right now. I should have about 4 more up. I'm sticking myself here to a schedule now, but I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks I got a bear hunts, I got a couple deer hunts, I got a bunch of waterfowl hunts coming up. So we'll have a nice mix, and then we'll be off to the races once I get caught up with that. So please join us, and I appreciate you allowing me the platform to come out here and spend some time with you, man. That was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. I love catching up and getting together, especially talking dogs and all that good stuff. I mean, that's fantastic. Guys, we really did touch on a lot of stuff today. You know, so if there's anything that you wish we had talked about a little bit more, go ahead, leave a comment down below, leave a review, reach out to Brian on any of his platforms, send me an email, and let us know if there's something you want to talk about more. You know, we'll have Brian back on and we'll talk about it.
Love to.
Until then, I want to thank you for joining us here for another episode of the Wing and Tail Boys podcast. And until next time, remember, success is just a commitment away. Have a great week.